right, we are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. Let's get Instagram up and running. Here she comes. All right. We've got YouTube, we've got Facebook, we've got Instagram. Let's get TikTok up to speed. After this weekend's live podcast, I think I realized something really important. A lot of actors accidentally hand the industry control of their self-worth. Good morning. This is the Daily, the morning report from the Working Actor NYC. Hey, friends over on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Of course, this weekend was a huge weekend, and we kicked it off on Saturday by doing our live podcast. And it was a very special one for us. We tried something really different. We really spent the time hearing from you. We invited our viewers to contribute videos so that we could play them during the episode. Because what had happened to me last week was that I found out that a project that I had been a part of moved on without me, that they couldn't use me anymore. Not that anybody explained this to me, and that was part of the drama that we discussed. Oh, Hershey's found a toy. So we invited, but when I posted about that, so many people said, yep, that happened to me too. So we invited people to send in videos so that we could play them during the podcast. And it was a super interesting discussion. But what, was a common thread throughout so many people's experience was this feeling of tying your self-worth to what had happened to you. What happened? And I think one of the most dangerous things an actor can do is to confuse "they didn't choose me" with "I'm not valuable." So I sort of want to dig into that a little bit. It was something that we sort of kept coming across, was that I think one of the reasons that happens to us is that we, as actors, we put so much of ourselves into these projects. We personalize the material. We make it about our experiences. So, of course, when we are let go from a project, it feels personal. We feel it deeply because unlike other jobs, we put ourselves into the work. I think it's easier to do an office job because you're not contributing parts of who you are, your experiences into what you've done. Perhaps to a smaller degree that's true, but I think with acting, we are the tools that we are using. It's ourselves, our experiences. So when we're let go from something, it feels like a rejection of us. But the danger, of course, is tying your self-worth to those outcomes. And this happens not just when we've been let go from a project, but say we work on an audition really hard and we don't get a call back. That's the same rejection, but in a smaller capsule, So the danger then is that grief of losing that opportunity becomes collapse. So we have to figure out how to work through the grief of being rejected. We have to figure out our strategies for not booking the job, for booking the job, working with the job, and then the job moving on without us. So that the grief of losing that doesn't become a full meltdown and a full collapse. And what I've learned particularly from this weekend's podcast which will be out a little later. Should be out shortly. In fact, I think the podcast is out now, and the video version will be up on YouTube shortly. But a big thing that I learned from this week's episode is that community is a part of that recovery. You can lean upon the people who have had, because this experience is common. Um, we all experience it in some form or another. So uh, being able to share that experience with others who've been through it is a great way to move through the grief and into growth. Oh, I've never said that before. Move through the grief and into growth. Of course, the second time I say it, I get tongue tied. Excuse me, I'm suffering a little bit with a minor cold at the moment. So your longevity as an actor requires systems, emotional systems that allow you to move through this grief, through these setbacks. Being an actor is not just about talent. It's about having systems. And one of those systems is an emotional system to help you move through these setbacks that we continue to face. And working actors survive by continuing to build after we experience these disappointments. And that's what we're here to do. That's exactly why the Working Actor NYC is here, to help you build systems. And I think one of them is being able to be in a forum like this where we can talk about these things. I love it. So just for the folks over on TikTok, I just want you to know the comments that come through on YouTube are just intended to bait, like the things that are being said to me right now on YouTube. It's so interesting. I just have to ignore them. But I leave them on because we do get viewers on YouTube who actually want to contribute something rather than just bait me into making me feel bad about myself. So that was such a great experience of being part of community this weekend when we did the podcast. And from there, I got to go and experience the joy of being the announcer for my friend's recitals for her dance school. And this week and on Saturday, it was the kindy shows. So these were like the tutu tots and the kindy ballet. Oh my God, the kindy breakers, the kindy break dancers. Come on, cuteness overload. And of course, the crowd lost their minds. So super fun experience as a way of lifting myself out of some of the grief processing that we had been through in the podcast. Of course, it was Mother's Day. I hope that you were able to celebrate some of the mothers in your life. I had a coaching with a friend who was working on an audition for a movie, which was super interesting. It involved a lot of physical comedy. It's just that interesting, fun to find that interesting balance of the physical comedy can't replace a human relationship. There still has to be a human relationship that is the core of the physical comedy that becomes the joy of the audition. So that was really excellent. And then yesterday I saw Hamlet over at BAM. There's a production that's been brought over from the National Theatre in England. And I really enjoyed it. I particularly loved the Ophelia and the Horatio. I thought they were both excellent. So it's been a busy week, y'all. And as I say, the Working Actor NYC is not just this daily. We have a podcast which will be posted on the video version of which will be posted onto our YouTube channel shortly. We have resources over at theworkingactornyc.com. Check all of that out, where you can see links to our coaching programs. There's an application there if you're interested in learning more about the systems that we need in order to build our careers not just our talent, not just our craft, but also our visibility, the tools and systems that we need to build our relationships, the tools and systems that we need to build our infrastructure so that we can drop in and do the work without having to start from zero every time, without having to build the systems every time. So if those interest you, go and check those out at the workingactornyc.com. And of course, we do the daily every morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. We're right here. I hope you'll come back during the week and let me know what you're working on. And feel free to ask questions. If you have any questions about your acting career, let me know so that we can work on them together. That's why we're here. So wherever you are in your acting career, remember, you got this. Keep going. And I'll be right back here tomorrow at 8 a.m. All right, friends, let me know where you are coming from and what you're working on. We'll be right back here tomorrow at 8 a.m. We'll see you then.